Good evening, Nigerians, and welcome to Evening Parliament right here on Active Citizens. My name is Ifoma Oji, and of course, Nigeria's 2027 presidential campaign has officially begun. But even before the first major rallies, the political temperature is already rising. And tonight, 5 Stories tells us exactly what kind of election we may be heading into. Now, let's start off with the campaign, which has already officially started. And President Bola Tinubu is asking Nigerians for 4 more years. But this election may be bigger than Tinubu himself. After nearly 12 years of APC at the federal level, Nigerians will be asking one uncomfortable question: are we actually better off? Tinubu will point to economic reforms and recovery. The opposition will point towards food prices, insecurity, and hardship. So is 2027 an election or a reference on 12 years of APC government? And of course, joining me in the studio to have this conversation is Mr. Chidi Lucky Kano. And joining us via Zoom too, we have Mr. Freeman, Mr. Kelvin Freeman. Good evening, sir, and welcome to the conversation. I'm starting with you.
Thank
Good
you
evening,
for
sir.
having me.
Welcome to the conversation. It's great to have you, and happy Wednesday.
Yeah, and same to you.
All right, now the campaign has kicked off. INEC has blown the whistle for every political party in Nigeria to start campaigning ahead of 2027 election. First of all, what is your thoughts on that before I further my questions?
Yes, it's a good thing that the campaign has officially started. But unofficially, the campaign has been going on. Even since last year, it has been going on, especially the one of President Tinubu. It has been happening even when the presidency has, said that they are not aware of it and all of that. But it's a good thing now that Nigerians have to go. So we have to start looking at what their manifestos looks like once again. And we want to know the slogan that each of the candidates has. Like the 2023 general election, we have the Miloko for Tinubu, and then we have the one of Peter Obi has to deal with, I think, from production or from consumption to production.
Yes,
and so now is the time for Nigerians to start looking at who is the better person for them to, to actually throw their weight behind.
Yes.
So in a democracy, the candidates obviously have their supporters. Tinubu has a very big supporters across Nigeria, and also Peter Obi has a very large group of supporters. And Atiku Abubakar, I'm talking about the heavyweights now. So we will be seeing, as days progresses, we'll be hearing them coming up with their campaign DGs, putting up their campaign structures in place. We'll be hearing such a thing like PCC, campaign cancel and all of that. And people will be struggling to get in because it means that money will start circulating. So the basic thing I think for Nigerians now is that the money that have been stored for a while, especially on the ruling party, will start manifesting, whether from the candidates directly or indirectly coming out from the parties. The parties have sold their tickets and nomination forms, That means they have generated a whole lot of money that they want to bring for Nigerians through rice, palliative sharing, through maybe sewing machine. We have some people who are also giving us zinc, right, and kuli and all of those things. You know it. So this is the time that Nigerians are expecting that something should happen. And even people who will walk into the market and start eating akara with market women, this is the time. This is the time that they will see you on the road, and you will see somebody who you can never see ordinary on the road before will now come into a kabu and start buying food for people. So I think it's time generally for Nigerians to breathe a little bit.
Even people that will eat corn.
Yes,
Nigerians.
And eat corn.
All right, okay. Now then came this dramatic video in addition to the 2027 campaign that has been flagged right now. People reportedly burning Kwankwasiya cards and caps. Now with claims that Kano youths are abandoning the movement. But hold on, does a viral video represent millions of Kano voters? Maybe not. Yet it raises a serious political question for a big Kwankwaso alliance. Can Kwankwaso really transfer his powerful Kano support base to Peter Obi? If he can, Tinubu has a serious contender and battle. If he cannot, the opposition coalition may be stronger on paper than at the polling unit. We take a look at that, incident in Kano State. We'll come back for more conversation. Meanwhile, in Bayelsa State, some Polos PBAT door-to-door movement is already on the streets, mobilizing for Tinubu. And don't underestimate this. Tinubu performed poorly in Bayelsa in 2023, but the political landscape has changed hands. Some Polos movement is targeting grassroots voters and talking about millions of votes nationally. We take a look at the video. More conversation will come after that. Mammoth crowd. Now the question, and the biggest question is here, can political influence, defections and door-to-door mobilization actually turn the Niger Delta into stronger Tinubu territory in 2027? Good evening, Mr. Freeman. I would love to have your thoughts on the first story, which is INEC has blown the whistle for all the political parties in Nigeria to begin their campaigning. Let me have your thoughts first on that. And you could see that the whistle was blown today, but Nigerians are already campaigning. Political parties, even what Mr. Kano said, they've started campaigning even before INEC blew the whistle, and INEC was not able to flag that up. But that is conversation for another day. Let me have your thoughts now on the mobilization, the door-to-door mobilization, and the burning of Tinubu, Kwankwaso and Peter Obi's cap in Kano State.
Okay, thank you very much. First of all, just like Rally said, the campaign flag, they are all over the place beginning today for the 2027 general elections, which is, of course, expected. All political parties are expected to start campaigning. They are expected to start moving from place to place, asking for people to vote them in. That is also expected to begin to happen across various regions, states, local government, wards, and all of that. But what is the other side of it, like you asked, was the issue of Kwankwaso. I watched that video, I saw it. And the question I will need to ask is, was it yesterday that Peter Obi and Kwankwaso emerged, to become presidential aspirant and vice presidential aspirant? It wasn't yesterday. I haven't seen any member of Kwankwaso group who came out to speak loudly that we are no longer going to be part of P2B Kwankwaso campaign group. You understand? So I don't know how to explain that, if it was an arranged situation or a true situation. So until we see an official statement telling us that yes, such a thing was done, or Kwankwaso himself, or maybe any of his associates came out to make a public statement confirming that Kwankwaso members of Kwankwaso group in Kano State are burning the identification or identity of which Kwankwaso is known in Kano State is political card, of course, like we always know. That is that for now. Then you talk about what is happening in Bayelsa State. Yes, you can see a lot of people are being mobilized. And just like one of the things we discussed in one of our previous editions, is everybody coming out for mobilization, does he have voter card? So good to mobilize people, good to have a normal crowd is part of the system. But I also know that it was a good thing for Bayelsa people to be mobilized, because if you look at that, Tompolo is actually campaigning it. And of course, you know that Tompolo is the right-hand man to President Tinubu. So what do you expect? So if I were on the side of Tinubu, okay, if I were on the side of Peter Obi, if I were on the side of Atiku, Abubakar, and of course any other presidential candidates, of course you will see me, because I have to mobilize others. So I am not surprised to see Trump championing that mobilization. But the question we should ask is every of them ready with his voter card, or is this just a mobilization for human show to enable us know that the South or the oil-rich region of Nigeria particularly are much more interested in supporting Tinubu for 2027 general election. That's what I can contribute for now.
Well said. Well said. Thank you so much for that. And now let me come to you, Mr. Chidi. There is a question that whenever you hear every journalist, that's what you hear from the lip of every journalist. And that's the question I'm going to ask you now. Now, after nearly 12 years of APC being in the federal level, do you think that Nigerians are better off now? And do you think that Nigerians should still give APC the opportunity to rule for 4 years?
I think that has to deal with individuals, how they feel about their vote and how their vote should go to. It is some people might tell you they're still opting for APC, while you still see some people who think that there should be a change in government. And some people will also describe the situation of the country and the way that the country has been handled. Personally, I'm not talking about a sieve, but on my own person, I will tell you that the country have witnessed a decline in its one democracy. Two, it has a decline both also on the general living conditions. So Nigerians have protested within the past 2 years of hunger protests. They have protested against bad governance. They have protested, you understand? So all of these things exist. So this is not something that we can just wake up one day and it all goes away. Tinubu came in and removed subsidy. It affected the economy. Everybody is having the brunt, everybody in the street. But yes, but again, whether APC or whether it's PDP or NDC, as the case might be, everything depends on how the people are sensitized and whom they choose. So I will not hear to say that, oh, this person is going to win, or this person, or Nigerians are working towards this, because I have an organization that I represent and we are non-partisan. So I will not want to dwell in one or the other. But again, there's the other thing about what happened in Bayelsa that he mentioned. Now, I've watched the video, and today I think they want to show from the APC's perspective that they at the Niger Delta can also mobilize and be part of what the campaign plans are, because it's more like showing yourself up to the president. And I think Tompolo is a contractor to the federal government, either covering areas of supervision in the oil rich region. So he is bringing his own input in. No bad. So let's just look at that and, of course, take it from that.
All right, thank you so much for that, Mr. Chidi. Now, I don't know if you guys saw this, but we took the story in the morning where every political party aspirant they've signed the peace accord in Abuja today, and they've promised peaceful and issue-based campaign. But Peter Obi has come out to say that there should be sanctions for people who flaunt that rules. And that was not all. Omoyeshore was also among those people that wants what he called justice accord. So anybody who flaunts the rule, there should be consequences. But Mr. Freeman, if you're there, I would love to ask you two questions, which I have one noted down here. Do you think that Nigerians should judge Tinubu only by his first term? Or do you think that he should also carry the political burden of Buhari's 8 years, because both governments came under APC? So should he be given another chance because he inherited the hardship from the, his, what's it called? The former president of Nigeria, and then tie it with a peace accord? Does he really work in Nigeria elections?
Okay, thank you very much. You are asking if Tinubu will be given opportunity to come back a second time. Well, I am speaking as an individual, and just like Mr. Kano said.
Okay.
You also mentioned that he is a good political submission, because when someone is elected into an office, he is expected to carry out the promises he made as part of his campaign, as a manifesto during the political electioneering and campaign, of course. So what we should be asking is, how has economy improved from when he took the mantle of Nigerian leadership to the present time? That is what we should be asking. What is our gross domestic product and per capita income from the time he took office up to this very moment? Then what is our GNP? So then what is our import rate and export rate? These are things you use as indices in measuring growth and development of a country. How much of our products are being exported, and how many imports do we make in a year? Do we have favorable balance of trade? Because like I've always said, as an economist, you don't just calculate how much you have made on the average. You calculate the value of your export and the value of your import. You use it to do what we call favorable balance of trade. So if our export rate is greater than our income rate, import rate, it means we have a favorable balance of trade. But if our export rate, or rather, if our import rate is greater than our export rate, it means we have unfavorable balance of trade. So the question is, how well has he positioned the economy from when we took over to the present time? So that question is left for every Nigerian to answer. Now, what are the prices of commodities in the market compared to what it is now? How well have we manufactured? How well have we, produced? What is the rate of human capital development that Nigeria has experienced from when he took over to the present time? Then what is the situation of the security? What is the security situation of the country from when he took over to now? What problems has he been able to solve? His government has been able to solve. So these are the indices with which you measure someone's performance. You understand?
Yeah.
So that is left for Nigerians to answer whether he has done well to warrant him to come back for a second channel, or that he thinks it's needed at this moment. That's where I'm going to wrap that one up.
All right, thank you so much for that beautiful submission. Okay.
I think there was another point you talked about.
Yes, the peace accord.
Yes. Well, for me, the people who attended the peace accord did well by attending. I'm aware also that Atiku was not there, and a whole number of other presidential candidates were not there. I would think that everybody who flouts the order, should be given punitive measure as it were. Having said that, but I also think it's very important for Peter Obi and a whole lot of other people who attended not to start crying as to whether it will be kept or not. What is important is that they are going out there in the field, I know, and they should start asking for people's food. And whatever the outcome is going to be, it's going to be determined by Nigerian voters. It's going to be determined by Nigerians. So needless strive over whether the peace accord is going to be kept or not, because I'm sure that there must be an outcome in the election, and that will be determined by the people. That is what is most important.
All right, that will be determined by the people. Now, Mr. Chidi, I would love your thoughts on this peace accord, but I need you to tie it with the next story. Now, while politicians are busy fighting for votes, look at the children that are reportedly standing in the rain with bowls waiting for food. Now, a social media post alleges APC spent 60 billion naira on vote buying. That was actually coming from Davido's father, but that specific figure remains unverified. But before I continue, let's take a look at the video. Why some, politicians spend about 110 billion naira for, campaigning in Osun State, or vote inducement in Osun State, and 60 billion naira allegedly in campaigning for votes. People are going through pains. Let's take a look at the video. We'll come back for more conversation. Welcome back, Mr. Chidi. Over to you now. You saw the heartbreaking video that we just watched now. Children trying to, shelter themselves, holding bowls with food, while we have Nigerian politicians spending 110 billion naira in a state just for campaign.
Oh my goodness. This site is always very, I don't know how to position it. It is very traumatic. Because when we see innocent children like this, it reminds us of what happened, probably during the war or something like that, where people were, seriously in hunger and starvation.
Yeah.
So, and okay, you're just looking at it from how much was spent in Osun, and then in the billions that were spent, and we're at this age, we are still having such a place where children are inside the rain with bowls asking for food, for crying out loud. And then we have people that are carrying flags like Tomporo and his team campaigning for a government that cannot provide these children should be in school. So I really think that it's very, the scene is really something that is very, very sad to see, honestly. And I don't want to start crying because they're needless to do that. The politicians it wouldn't bother them. So, but what I can say about the peace accord thing that you mentioned is that one, we noticed that Chief Bola Tinubu wasn't there, and I think Atiku also was not there, but Peter Obi was there. I think Sowore also was there. Other presidential candidates were there. So that tells you something. One, the presidency does not value what they call the peace accord, because I think Chief Bola Tinubu has already made a statement that all things are fair game, So people should bear in mind with that. And talking about this accord, this peace accord, in every even governorship election, like the one of us, didn't they sign peace accord?
They did.
In every election season, they come out and sign peace accord. And maybe, just maybe, it is on the budget. So it means that the people who are arranging this peace accord has already billions budgeted for it, and then the money also is shared amongst them. So that is what I can tell you, because it doesn't add up to anything. I've not seen all the violence that keeps happening during our electioneering season, through to what happens even when people died, through to the time when election is disputed, went through the courts. I did not see the reaction of the committee on the peace accord. So, am I saying it's not good for them to go ahead? It's good for Peter Obi to be there, to acknowledge it. But what I'm saying is that it does not work in actual sense. And
Right.
money would have been allocated to that very committees. And when you hear the amount that is allocated for this particular peace accord signing, you'll be so surprised. It will go into billions again. So, does it solve any problem for Nigerians? No. Does it stop any form of vandalism, any form of rigging? Does it even stop people being eyed in every corner when APC, PDP, they all clash? Nobody comes out to say anything. When they started the Basbos in Osun State that we just witnessed just last week, did you hear the members of the accord saying that they have mobilized ICPC or that they have mobilized other this thing, because they must have their framework on how it works? So I should just say that peace accord is not working in Nigeria. Whether it will work for 2027 is a different question entirely.
All right, over to you now, Mr. Kelvin. I would love your thoughts on the video if you're still there, right? Because when I saw this video, I was led to tears. Even when I watched it here right now, I was led to tearing up, because it's crazy how a lot of money go into campaign and electioneering period, but we have people that are plunging in serious starvation. Take a look at that video where children are shivering under the rain just to get little food to survive. What do you have to say as regards that? And if APC spent around 110 billion naira allegedly for Osun State, what amount of money would they be spending for 2027 campaign?
Okay, thank you very much. First of all, the amount said to have been spent is not verified. It was just a statement. I am not saying that money was not spent. And of course, you don't expect that money would not be spent in any election. There must be expenses made, but it is not verified, as I'm trying to say. Secondly, the state of these children, or watching these children, simply reveals the insensitivity of leadership to the Nigerian child. Because the Nigerian child is the future of Nigeria. The Nigerian child is the leader of tomorrow. So how well the Nigerian child is cared for will determine how well Nigeria is going to be in the near future. A lot of children's programs are being run. A lot of non-governmental organizations, a lot of government programs channeled towards alleviating poverty, sometimes the reduction of poverty as some part as solid are ongoing everywhere. But you can't see any of this translates into positive change in the lives of these children. Like Mr. Kano said, these children ought to be in school. What are they doing? Carrying bowls, begging for food. Food should be the primary need that should be taken care of by the country. No Nigerian child should be hungry for any reason. But look at the state where how these children are languishing if I'm permitted to do so. Whereas we have leadership. I don't know the states these children were captured, but I believe they have governors, they have local government chairmen, they have other types of leadership in that area, and these children are allowed to, be moving about or begging for food. 1 billion, like you said, allegedly, are spent, during electioneering processes or electioneering campaign. You can see that our leaders need to have a mindset reprogramming. There is need for reorientation. There is need to understand what leadership is and how leadership will be translated to the grassroots. So we can't be spending billions of money when our children are not being taken care of. We can't be spending such money when our roads are dilapidated. We can't be spending such money when our environment, our schools, our institutions, our choirs are not guided. Somebody made a statement I watched a video many years ago. It was a Nigerian member of House of Reps was said to be discussing with a a member of House of Rep of an African country. And then that member of House of Rep of that African country, while they were discussing, asked the Nigerian member of House of Rep, he said, in your country, that when budget is given or made or proposed, you people usually have a lot of money. But when you look at your rules, this money does not translate on your rules. But we who receive small amounts of money in our budget, it translates in our roads, it translates in our schools, it translates in security, it translates in production. What happens? And the Nigerian rep was allegedly said to have told him that we collect the money to share, but you collect the money to work. So I think it was a drama, but it has still taught us a lot of lessons. So I feel so touched. I see myself in these children. I see my grandchildren in these children. I also saw myself when I was at that age in these children. So our leaders need to think. And that is why I encourage our voters, Nigerian voters, get your BBC, clean it, decide who is going to be your leader in 2027. From the National Assembly to the presidential. Thank you very much. I'm going to stop at this.
Thank you so much for that. All right, over to you now, Mr. Chidi. Your thoughts on the Heroes program and probably, your final call to action before we call to show a wrap.
But I thought that Samuel was okay. He's here.
Oh, Mr. Samuel, good evening, sir. Are you still there? All right, Mr. Chidi, let's just hear from you.
Okay, I love the way he programmed, because we don't know where this video of these children is coming from, but it's really something that I think probably the people that is in charge of children welfare and all of that have to look at, because even if you want to give children food, it should not be on the rain. You understand? Because they line them up and there is rain falling. I mean, they should have keep the children somewhere so that they don't eat and at the same time contact some sort of this thing.
Yes, sickness. All right, thank you so much. But I would love your thoughts on the final call to action before I call the show a wrap for this evening.
It's okay. Well, I think let's take it from where the campaign has started. Because the major thing that we started with has to deal with the campaign starting, and we saw Tampolo doing his thing. We also saw other posters going around Nigeria. And of course, very soon we are still going to see the one of Atiku. We are going to see, but we see that it's Tinubu trying to show that he's still the president currently, and nobody is disputing that. So the politicians are back on the road and the promises are returning. Just the normal promises they give Nigerians every 4 years. The peace accord we also discussed about are being signed. And once again, Nigerians are being asked, who will you vote for in 2027? And that is what the whole thing we're discussing is all about. But here on the Active Citizens Hero series, we want to ask a different question. What will you do to protect your vote? Because the time is now about them. As they are going about asking for your vote, we are asking you to do what? To get at least your card to make sure that you vote somebody. Because democracy cannot be something we hand over completely to the politicians, political parties, or even the institutions. For too long now, many Nigerians have voted, they have gone home and waited for somebody else to protect the process. 2027 must be different.
Yes.
Whether you support Tinubu or you support Peter Obi, Atiku, Sowore, Adebayo, or even anybody else, is your democratic choice. Our interest is not who you vote for at Artisan Foundation. Our interest is whether your vote counts exactly as you cast it. That is why we are building a new generation of active citizens heroes. That is ordinary Nigerians prepared to participate peacefully, observe their polling unit responsibly, document what they can verify, and stand for credible elections in their own communities using the NG election polls. Now, politicians are beginning their campaigns. We can see that it has started happening. Even before now, it has happened. Citizens must begin preparing to self-organize, because when election day arrives, democracy will not only need voters. Democracy itself will need active active citizens. Because we've seen the case of the Tompolo that we talked about. We've seen, and the question that Kevin Freeman asked is very strategic. Is it everybody you see in that very field that actually has a card, or they came out because they had like 5K or 2K posted to them and everybody converged? Just like the case we have in Kano State, where Kwankwasia, or as they alleged, are burning the caps. Does that cap translate to anything? You understand? Supposing somebody financed the burning of those caps and even manufactured and produces some cap for them to burn. You understand? So I think the authorities need to even investigate the degradation of our the environment, because the moment you are burning something, people are inhaling. Some people will get sick and all of that. So the authorities in charge of environment should also investigate this. We should stop the issue of this kind of politics. I mean, bitter politics. We should all reason together. Let the people of the APC in Kano State mind their own and go and canvass for votes. Why the PDP or NDC should do theirs too? But trying to, trying to mutilate property, and personal items is not okay. It's just like if you see people who are burning Tinubu's cap, because we already know him with certain signs of his cap, and you see people who are burning it. Don't you think the police will move in to go and arrest those people? Exactly. So we should, be cautious that what is good for Bulus is also good for Bala. So that we make sure that as they have signed peace accord, they should always look towards peace and not throwing the country into chaos and anarchy.
Thank you so much for that, Mr. Chidi Lucky Kano, and thank you so much, Mr. Freeman Kelvin. Thank you for chiming into the conversation. And perhaps this is where all 5 stories are meeting together. Politicians are fighting for Kano State. They are fighting for Bayelsa. They are signing peace accord agreements. They are building campaign structures. They are calculating millions of votes. But millions of Nigerians are calculating something much simpler. Can I feed my family tonight? So maybe the biggest question of 2027 campaign isn't simply about Tinubu, Atiku Abubakar, Kwankwaso, or Peter Obi. Maybe it is this. After all the rallies, alliances, defections, and even promises, whose policies or politics will actually change the life of the Nigeria standing at the polling unit? And that is where I'm leaving it for every Nigerians to choose who they are going to be voting for in 2027. If nothing we've discussed on this table challenge your thinking faculty, if nothing we have been singing every single time challenged you to vote wisely for 2027, maybe the videos of the children that you watch there scavenging for food, trying to protect themselves and feed daily basis, can actually challenge you to make the right decision. But this is where we're going to call it a wrap on Evening Parliament right here on Active Citizens. My name is Ifoma Ojiti. We'll see you tomorrow for more updates. Please stay cautious and please get your PVC.